Welcome to the Let's Get Blunt podcast. Welcome to is episode 11. And today is going to be a really special episode because we are going to be talking about all the trends that we see for 2023 and beyond for the collective. So you're going to want to listen to this. As always, our sponsor is Golden Earth Botanics. Golden Earth Botanics is an alternative dispensary focused on your healing. They do so through botanic healing, terpenes, and hemp-based products. They recently just launched a section where you can start your own hemp-based smoke ritual line. They would do pretty much all that, and you kind of just reap the rewards of it. All that could be found at goldenearthbotanics.com, goldenearthbotanics.com. And, you can always inbox me, DM me here, because Golden Earth Botanics is me and I am she, right? And so today we have Janae of Spiritual Gangster Certified. And when I think of an astrologer, you're one of few people I send people to, because I'll be like, I know what's going on, but I can't tell you why the shit happened. I know what I know, but I can't tell you.
Yeah.
So I'll be like, go to her page, go to this page, ask her why. I can just tell you what's going to happen. So here's your chance. You could introduce yourself.
Hi. I'm going to try to look directly at the camera. My camera is done.
That's right.
I'm Janae Jones. You might sometimes see me referred to as Philadelphia-ish or Illy-ish, the pen name I have. So Spiritual Gangster Certified, which is essentially my mission in the world to have people be not only astrologically literate, because I'm telling you astrology has a practical purpose, so you can navigate your life a little bit easier and understand things, but also to connect with other spiritualists who do things such as Kosh. I'm not even high for real, but I just lit the wrong end of my blunt. I'm not even high for real. I'm sorry. Continue. It's okay. But essentially, our Spiritual Gangster Certified was started after I went through a complete and total spiritual awakening and came back to who I actually am instead of the life that I had started building that wasn't. And astrological study helped me to understand and come to grips with the things that happen. I say this all the time, astrology saved my life. Because
spirituality, it saved my life.
Saved it. I wouldn't be here. I didn't even want to be here anymore after a lot of the things that happened to me. Mm-hmm. I was depressed and started watching videos. I tell people this all the time by this man named Santos Bonacci. He would link astrology to everything. When I say that, I'm talking religion, fairy tales, today, something that happened he made me say, oh my God, this is a language. And if you understand this language, you might be able to unlock the keys to the universe type shit. So I'm like, all right. And as I started to look into it, the next thing I know, I'm learning I can look up certain times in my life to see what was going on. And then oh my God, that makes sense. I'm looking up people's energy and understanding, what my energy is and how it's interacting with them. I'm like, oh my gosh, and then I'm like, I'm supposed to do this. I'm remembering something as I was learning it.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff was coming back to me. I'm like, I've done this before.
It gotta be, because I look at it and that shit is calculus 5. I always got that shit and my eyes glaze over. I'm like, no way. I feel it in my heart space. I hear it. I'm that person. I start putting the charts in front of me. I'm like, the fuck is this shit?
I understand.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be terrified when I was first learning and I'm reading all these books and I'm watching videos and stuff. Then I'm like, you have to actually look at a chart, baby girl, and see what's going on. And I was terrified. And I don't know why I was terrified, because I started practicing on people I knew. And then I'm like, this isn't as hard as you thought.
Right.
But I encourage people that have a curiosity for it, like, which is one of the reasons, like, when I do my readings, I don't just tell you what I see, I tell you how I derive that conclusion, which is why I'm going to say, readings from me be long. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all be getting multiple videos because I want you to understand that I'm not just making stuff up. Because we unfortunately live in a time where, I mean, I don't want to say unfortunately totally that the world is connected via social media, but part of the downfall to that is people speaking on shit and they don't really embody it, understand it, or whatever. And it's like, I'm an astrological knight, I feel like. Like, I want to protect the integrity of astrology.
Mm-hmm. So,
yeah.
I'm going to ask, if there is one aspect of people's chart that they should dig into, what is that aspect that you think can, give them a better understanding?
Okay, I will say, I'm going to pick the North Node. I thought of like 3 things I would pick that tied, but I don't think that a lot of people look at this first. In my experience, I even had a book that particularly discussed your North Node placement, what sign it's in, what house it's in, and what that means. And when I first bought the book and I looked at it, I'm like, oh, this is only about the nodes? So I put the book away. I wanted books that talked about, like, astrology. I wish I had just read that book, because by the time I came back to it, changed my damn life. Okay? Your purpose, why you're here this lifetime, your North Node. Okay? What you're supposed to be striving towards. Then your South Node's the direct opposite of that. What you're used to, what you're accustomed to. So sometimes it's easy to you.
Yeah, so we talked about that. Like, almost every podcast up to this point, we talked about the fact that, we just did what was easy.
Yeah.
So, like, I never intended to be this or that. I said, it just fell in my lap, and I'm good at it. So,
yes.
So a lot of times we get stuck in the things that we just good at.
Yeah.
And then it comes easy. So we're like, this is an easy way to make money. And then we're stuck here. And then we're so fucking unhappy because that is not our purpose here. Mm-hmm. That's just what comes easy, so that our karmic selves, our past lives, and, all that other shit. And then I realized after my daughter was born, why I had such dissonance in my body, because my South Node is in Capricorn. I'm all about that shmoney.
I hear.
Like, give me my money. At 16, I want to make 6 figures, and I did it by 21, right? And then my daughter came along at 27, and my world kind of flipped, and it was like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
Because then it was just like, I barely see the kid that I birthed. And some people, that would be fine, but my North Node is in Cancer.
Cancer family child mothering.
So I was like, that doesn't vibe with me. And so I let it all up to do this. And it's so crazy how God works, because I never intended it to do like this. I never intended to be home like this.
Literally. Cancer home too. Yes.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I don't know. I want a job where I could, like, be able to get off and take my daughter home and pick her up from school. I thought shit like this, but no. Like, I'm home. If my daughter calls right now, Mommy, I'm sick, come get me from school, I can drop everything I have and go get her. And she's not a toddler anymore. So that the fact that I'm still here living that life and I'm not upset about it.
Ma'am. I love that.
So I will say North Node, definitely, because you can understand what those drivers behind you are, because I couldn't articulate why what I had was not enough. It's like, bitch, you got the house, the car, the husband, the kid. Bitch, what more do you want? 6-figure job, what more do you want, bitch? And it's just like, and I actually had to ask myself, like, why aren't you happy? Which sent me into a spiral of, like, maybe I'm just, I should sit in gratitude, and maybe and it's like, no, you see your daughter 2 hours a day. That's why. Before it's time to go to sleep, I did the math, and it was 4 hours in each day that I had to do whatever the fuck I needed to do, which included rearing my child.
Wow.
And I was, so that North Node will get you together and understand, but it's hard to not fall back into your South Node because it
exactly.
And try to anyway, go get some money, bitch.
Especially any person that has planets, especially like the planets closer to the sun, I should say the personal planets. Anybody that has planets in that sign too. Like if let's say your South Node is in Sagittarius, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got your moon in Sagittarius, you got Mars in Sagittarius. Like, you know what I mean? So these are influencing and of course, like giving power to that energy that you have with your South Node in Sagittarius. And it's like, I feel bad for people that have that, but you can find ways to work better. Because here's the rub, to be honest with you. Your North Node and your South Node are opposites. Every sign of astrology, has the opposite sign.
Mm-hmm.
Arithmetic law, opposites are the same energy. They're just at different ends of the spectrum.
Right.
And it's interesting because people are like, but no, I mean, it's really true. And alchemizing things a lot of times has to do with moving along that spectrum. You're too far one way and you want to get more balance. Like, that's
right. That North Node encounters the balance between work life and home life.
You were supposed to find that, but
yeah,
but I'm gonna look at your chart too. I told you I would, but like, I want to see the influences and the other challenges when it comes to, meeting that purpose. But you're describing something, and this is what I tell people all the time. You literally just talked astrology without realizing you're talking astrology. You're speaking astrology. You're just not using the astrological terms. You just talked your chart and your life to me. Like, before even seeing it, I'm picturing these things in my head. I'm hearing, you're describing precisely what those placements are without actually.
Because I think people born around the same time kind of experience similar things, and that's going to get us into the talk about the trends and stuff, right?
Yes.
Because like when I talk about my awakening, it was October 4th, 2014. Remember it like yesterday. I remember the motherfucking day because literally out of nowhere, boom, seizures, no lead up, no nothing. And it was the first day of Mercury in retrograde that year. And then I got better and I tried to fight it because, hoorah,
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. We just gonna, pain is just weakness leaving the body, bullshit like that. I was a little bit indoctrinated. So to go back to work, and I quit work July 4th, 2015. But I didn't actually get off the books of my job until 2016. So when you were talking about whatever is happening between 2015 and 2016, I was like, that's when I literally, finally left my job on paper. And that's so crazy to me. So what do you think was, happening around? I know you had led into it, and I know some of this shit requires charts or whatever, but I don't know. If around that time,
what was going on? So I see 2015, 2016, that would have made me, I was between 35 and 36. And I just thought of something with cycles. So I think when it comes to major decisions, like having to do with work or having any sort of responsibility, the Saturn is in there somewhere. Automatically, the first thing I think of. Saturn was
Saturn.
So Saturn moves in 7-year cycles, to be honest with you.
Every major transition for me has been every 7 fucking years. And I was literally about to say, don't say 7.
7-year cycles. It's interesting because most people hear about Saturn returns, which is simply Saturn going back to exactly where it was when you were born, which that's can happen anywhere between 27 and 30, But that's not the first time Saturn is hey, remember who I am. It's doing that throughout your life. Your first major Saturn cycle, when you're 7, you're going through a Saturn square. The sign Saturn is in is squaring your Saturn. And squares, hard angles, 90 degrees. So it's like square up. Like these energies, they're like, essentially. So think of something that you go through in the realms of responsibility at age like 7 or 8, right?
Mm-hmm.
You literally are kind of graduating. The stuff that was like kindergarten that you loved or whatever, you too old for that now. It's like a transition, right? So children do that. Then by the time you're 14, 15, well, come on now, you're a teenager.
Right.
You're going through a Saturn opposition. Saturn's in the opposite side from you. Think of what teenagers is doing. You are your own authority feels challenged, and you've never really had it in this manner before, and you're on this cusp where you're like, I'm not a kid, but you're not an adult. Rest of
So it's trying to assert yourself and shit,
Yes. More responsibilities are on you, or maybe even being asked of you, and whether you fuck with that or not depends on what it is. And like, think all of us have gone through this. Then you go through another Saturn square. You're like 21, 22, right? Girl. Now you're not fully, your brain isn't fully formed. What do they say about, like, you were talking about by the time you're 25?
25, yeah.
But you're legally an adult. You can drink.
Right.
Like, these sorts of things. You have new challenges and responsibilities you didn't previously have. Then you have your Saturn return. And then the cycle starts all over again. So I was going through a Saturn square. So that's what I was thinking. So I'm going to look at your chart and see where everything is. But a Saturn cycle was occurring for me that was ushering me out of work where I was. I'm killing myself to go to this place. I have all sorts of medication I have to take to even be able to be here physically and not be in pain. I remember sitting at work and someone was like, you look so pale. I was. I'm iron anemic, iron deficient because of my periods. And I felt like I was going to pass out, but the Capricorn moon in me, like, I'm just.
Keep going. Yeah. Because, I, like, 2008, I left a job.
Okay.
And they had fucked up some shit. And this was the first real, like, grown up shit that I was going through. I had just bought a house and we just got a car. We're getting married. And then I leave this job and realize they didn't update my security clearance. So I couldn't, so I was in limbo for months. And it was horrible, right? Then we get married. And then in July of 2008, I go to Iraq because that was one of the places that I could work on an interim. So I was like, I gotta go because we got a house, we got some shit, and that was that. So 2008, then in 2005, I left my company. Like 2005, I left because I got sick.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so much that happened. It's crazy. It's every 7 fucking years for me.
And there were other things occurring too at the same time that were enhancing or like other astrological transits. But yeah, the fact that you can go through and see those cycles playing out. And then as those cycles were individually happening to you, every time Saturn was moving into a new sign every 2.5 years, then new energies to contend with that were affecting all of us collectively too. So like, think of yourself, your personal cycles, but you're also a part of humanity and society. So what's affecting all of us is then impacting you too. So it's we don't give enough credit to how much we go through energetically.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. What can people look at if they want to know like what they're here for? Like in terms of, I guess, that deep level of like contentment. Is that still your North Node or is that something else?
There's a couple of other things I think of when you say that. So your North Node is telling you what this incarnation for you is about, because realizing in astrology and the terms that are set up is based on the fact, I guess you could say, energy doesn't die. So like you've lived lifetimes before, but this lifetime, this is the path you should be on. But fulfillment is a little bit different. So the first thing that I thought of was the part of fortune. You hear fortune, people automatically go money, but no, fortune is the fulfillment. It can't be money. I mean, but yes, look for that. Like, I'll give you guys an example. In my own chart, like my North Node is in the 11th house, so the house of networking, community. It's the house that Aquarius naturally rules. So connecting, you know, that sort of thing, friendship circles. But my South Node be like, you just want to be part of the group. You don't want to leave because it's in Leo. But for fulfillment for me, that's in my 3rd house. What do I also have there? I have my moon there. I like explaining how I feel. Like,
Right.
I don't mind doing it. I need to do it. The 3rd house is the house of communication. So that makes me go, okay, I find fulfillment. My North Node may be in the 11th house, but my fulfillment is found through communicating, which helps my North Node. So it's connected. You see how these things are connected even though they're separate? You often want to look at a couple of different areas because we go to work because we have to.
Right.
Oh, it's not like we just wake up one day and, you know, you can just do whatever you want and someone's going to throw money at you for it just because you like doing it. So sometimes we have to, we don't want to do it because we have to survive.
Right.
So there's different areas of work to look at within the chart. The first one that comes up for me, well, I should talk about all of the Earth houses, but I'll start with Virgo, the 6th house.
Mm-hmm.
The 6th house is like your work environment, your day-to-day habits. So when you know what's on your 6th house cusp, you know that ideally for you, the day-to-day is going to have the qualities of that sign. That would be normal. So if there's anything you have to do because you have to do it and not because you want to do it, you probably want to be more aligned. It needs to be something that fits your particular 6th house, because then it'll be easier for you to just do it. It won't feel so painful because you're not doing maybe precisely what you want to do. You see
When I like, it really gives you the keys to the motherfucking kingdom.
Yes,
Like,
ma'am.
sit here and ask myself these same questions and then find it in my chart to give me my goddamn answer.
Yes, ma'am.
Like,
It feels good to figure out too. Like, I used to be like, damn, like I can do just about anything, right? I'm just one of them people, like, I'm self-taught in a lot of stuff, but I do seek out guidance and I really want to go deeper into stuff. But
same.
but my sun is in the 6th house. Now I'm a Pisces sun, but I have a Virgo dominant chart. I have a bunch of planets in Virgo. But at the heart of me, I see life through like a compassionate lens. I experience life through a Piscean lens. But my sun is in Virgo's house, which means it's shining on, I like helping people. Like, I feel compelled to help people. But here's the thing. Pisces is on my 6th house cusp, which means my day to day has to be Piscean in order for me to be able to withstand it and for it to feel good to me. So I don't like a day that's the same every day. Pisces can be wherever it wants to be. You know, I need to be creative on the day to day. So as long as I don't have the same day and can be creative, I could, if I have to take a job because I have to take it, something that allows me to embody Piscean qualities, and I want to say the good ones, even though you can embody the bad ones too, all kinds of positive and negative qualities. But then it's like, oh, that's why it's easy for me to do that thing. But that's a double-edged sword. You could get stuck. Maybe that's not the thing that fulfills you or that you're here to do, but because it's so in alignment with, I just get to have the day. It's chill. No, I don't know what's going to happen. You can get stuck there. So when you hit it on the head, you really see why you do the things you do.
right. And it's just like, is any of me original? God damn. Like, do we really have free will? If that's the case, you know what I'm saying? If these thoughts were fucking written when I was born, you know?
You're doing, you don't. This is how I look at it.
Oh, Yeah.
It's kind of like, and shout out to Ra Aku for me hearing this from him and him saying it. Wonderful astrologer and teacher, has done this for over 40 years. Technically, life is like a video game. Now, if me and you want to play a video game, we gotta pick our character. That's, I guess, us for this incarnation.
Right.
We're gonna come in and choose on our chart, right?
Right.
All right. Now we're here, we're born, and we're in the game. You still have to make decisions. Like in the game,
You still gotta do the controller. Cause me, when I play games, I just mash on.
Oh,
You have to there.
girl, I hear you. There's been games I do that. I used to beat my brothers when I was little. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just fighting.
Right.
Like,
So yeah, we come here, we embody, and the choices that we make
yes, yes.
kind of shifts. Like, but it was kind of cinematic. Like, but we can choose to go one way. Or
Yeah, like having experience.
there are two polar poles. I could go the positive route or take this more, nuanced negative feeling route.
And by virtue of knowing what's going on, this is one of the things that I say about astrology. I mean, some people would still say you don't really have free will because as transits come, a lot of the best astrologers can tell you something's going to happen to you. But at the same time, I encourage people to look at it from the aspect of, like, let's say Mars is about to be conjunct your Mercury. Mars in the sky is about to line up with the way you think and communicate, which could be some tension, right? There's a couple of ways you could look at that. That could be a masculine presence starting something with you because Mars rules masculinity. So it could be a man. It could be some violence coming your way through an argument. Like, so there's still choices even within the things that line up. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I tell people know the keywords for stuff. So you'll be like, oh shit, well, it wasn't a man that wanted to fight me. It's an argument that got violent. Like, you're like,
Right.
So the beauty of it is it's literally like learning like a code that's encoded in everything that explains why this happens and that happens, and understanding the energy of things. You already understand the energy of things, whether
I just talk the energy part of it. I'll be like, I don't listen to your stars or no shit like that. But I just know what's gonna happen. Side note, who is Papa Bear? Does that mean something to you?
Does it mean something to me?
Yeah, because I just heard somebody, they've been asking me to ask you about Papa Bear this whole time, and I was like, I'll ask her, but I gotta make sure like there's a pause in here. I don't know who it is, but I just said it. So it may mean something to you or somebody close to you. But it's just like they're popping in just to say, hey, like they don't have no message or anything. They're just, and it, for all I know, it could be somebody that's going to be watching this. I have.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like that. When I
wanted me to say Papa Bear.
Yeah, that doesn't really fit me personally, but it makes me connect to other stuff. So I'm thinking it's
maybe, because now I don't hear it. But I just kept hearing say Papa Bear, say Papa Bear, say Papa Bear. So it could be a trigger.
My dad, honestly.
Yeah. And like you said, it makes you think about other things. It could have been the word that you needed to hear to like put two and two together. I have no clue. But they was just like, say it. Like, damn, okay, I'll say it. Just let me wait for the actual pause in conversation.
He was like, we weren't talking.
Exactly. And so, yeah. Oh, so what are some trends do you think, I'm saying this, but I know Spirit is requesting it go a different way. Like I said, sometimes we have our way, like we were going to talk about the trends of 2023. You guys heard me. And they spirit ain't even correct me. They just let me go. Uh, but the trends of 2023, but they want to ask you about a certain aspect of healing. Like at a certain way, it's something to look at, and it's like the core level of healing. It feels like a release button. Like what they're showing me is just like the emptying of something once you press a button and it's like getting pulled out and it's gone away. Another aspect that people could kind of navigate that tells them that release button, like what ails them in this lifetime that they gotta heal from, move on from, and all that other stuff. Are there aspects that they could look at for that?
You mean in their particular chart or what's going, well, because collectively right now, girl, there's so many opportunities to heal. And then I guess we would look at where that would fall in people's charts.
Okay,
but
yeah.
For instance, Chiron is in Aries right now, and Chiron stays in signs for like roughly 8 years. So when Chiron was in Pisces, something that I noticed that was going on before Chiron moved to Aries, people were like really in their shit, like, and not wanting to come out of it or not knowing how to get out of it. And it was just like sappy, sad, woe is me. But some of it was beautiful because some people were able to find release by just surrendering to emotions. But then for some people who were already very inclined to be emotional, it just felt like more like, so depending on their chart. Well, Chiron Aries, that said a couple of themes.
Mm-hmm.
Aries is the self. Chiron is healing and wounding. Mm-hmm. You have to take responsibility for your healing. That's what Chiron and Aries says. And that's where it is. It's going to be there for a little bit longer.
So that's why I want to get my health in order and get myself together and clean my house of my depression house. And, I'm like, this year I was like, I'm going to do all the things. I'm going to get my shit together. I'm going to leave this last 15 minutes. I'm going to start eating right. I'm going to clean the house. And I did. I started. I'm doing it. I am doing real good. I've come a long way. I will say this podcast is about being blunt, transparent. Like, I've come a long way. This shit looked easy for y'all looking at me. It was not easy. There's a lot, going on behind the scenes of the play that people are not privy to. That, I shared a little bit, like, you guys know my story, but those deep, deep struggles, like, I ain't share that. We don't do that. We have a way of letting people see us without y'all not knowing shit about us. You own down like that. Yeah. Like,
and if you're busy pointing out what needs to be fixed and helping other people, then there's not a lot of time for people to even be nosy at your shit.
Right. If I'm helping y'all figure out y'all shit and stuff, right. I'm busy and helping people, right? So like you said, the Chiron and Aries.
Yes. Right? So that's been the last couple of years too. So like, and mind you, as it's moving, it's making its way through your chart. So it's impacting different areas of life. So at different times, you can feel certain points of life being activated. If Chiron is transiting your first house, probably in Aries rising, and it's literally the energy of healing thyself, being the one that it's up to make the moves to heal thyself is literally in your face. Like, it's like, hello, do you see you have to deal with this? It's literally something that is not going to really leave your view while it's there.
So how would that aspect against somebody's personal chart in such a way as though they know how to navigate their own shit within that community of shit?
Well, you always want to look at your chart and then put a secondary chart of what's going on over it, because that'll tell you, okay, you can see where Chiron is, and we can look at what house it's in and know, oh, it's impacting this area of her life. Then we also want to know where your natal Chiron is, so we're going to find that in your chart. basically with Chiron, if you look at the myth about him, Centaur cannot really heal his wound, but could make all types of salves and potions and stuff to heal other people. He's the wound healer. So that energy for all of us is like, it's a wound that like you can't really escape. So over time, you kind of learn how to integrate it, deal with it better. It never really goes away. It's just how you learn to handle it. And it also...
I'm having a lot of revelation over here.
You are?
Because I've been wondering, I got told I have an adjustment disorder, which is my inability to accept what is. Right. So with my health and my wanting to just be better, do better, and all the resentment I have for it, no matter how much like healing work, it always pops back up as, it's not a lot of resentment anymore, but I have my moments when I'm just like, damn, like if I didn't have this, I could be doing and and it just, no matter how much fucking healing I do, no matter how happy I am, it will still creep up on me. And I think that is, my desire for that South Node energy of like constant productivity.
Oh, I hear, God, I understand.
Kicking in my door sometimes. And it just keep kicking in my goddamn door sometimes.
And that it's trying your sun. And I mean, when I look at the rest of your chart, I'll be able to see how it interacts with everything else. But like, so there's easy flow and energy between what's vital to you and that South Node energy. So you can see why it's like, oh no, but like,
when I'm here, say it. I like that.
But you're like, no, that's not what you're here to do. But you're like, I like that.
But I like that though. I was happy over there for, with a little few minor adjustments. We could have had a thing.
Yeah. So
if I had the flexibility that folks had, like now, it wouldn't have even been a thing. That whole if I could have worked from home,
yeah,
it wouldn't even been a thing. She's like,
you get to,
but I understand that things are the way that they are for the reason that they are.
Yes.
And that is what I had to learn in my spiritual growth for myself, is that sometimes my spiritual self and my human self, my analytical mind, does not marry up. And moving spiritually while bumping against your humanness, it's hard to navigate.
Yes.
Sometimes, because they're not always in alignment. Because my human self was like, my daughter like lobsters. I need these lights on. I got cell phones and
yeah.
And then my spiritual self is just like, but we're gonna go and grow these hemp seeds, and it's just like, okay, how am I gonna make money now? Like,
yeah, I hear you.
And then, we keep bumping up against that, and I know I am not the only one that bumps up against that, especially if you are navigating the world from an intuitive and spiritual standpoint. Some people have it to where they're just spiritual. They go about life, and spirituality is to them like, the Bible is to someone that's a Christian.
Yeah.
Like, it may not navigate your day to day as much when it comes to your goals in life and, how you're going to live and all that other stuff. But when you're moving in alignment with your purpose and your mission, sometimes that don't marry up to your humanness at all. It's like, fuck them kids. Like, no, I don't want to do that. But then just like, no, this is what you're supposed to be doing. No matter how many times I said I quit, I stand before you today.
There's even the physical, like and different areas of your life in like actual physical reality can be at odds depending on your chart.
I wouldn't quit all the time. And like someone, cause it's hard. It's just hard. Cause then, you know, not only am I showing up for myself spiritually, but I'm showing up for a lot of other people spiritually that in my mind are flourishing off of my energy. And then I'm sitting here like, and it's cause Ty, you're not, I am growing evergreens, not wildflowers.
Yes.
Right? And my energy is that of the forest. So you may not see shift in the forest until you see the shift.
You got
in the forest.
Literally.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just like one day you're gonna be like, damn, that tree got big. You know? You walk back out there like, yeah, why did it not here before? Like, what happened? You know?
Yeah.
Like, and so that's me navigating that in this moment because I've been having that feeling of humanness creep up where, you know, like I said, my shit work. So whenever I'm feeling like that, Spirit will send me pictures of the babies that I helped come to fruition. You know, somebody will inbox me and be like, Ty, I just want to say I love you because of insert all these things that just me being a presence in this moment has helped people achieve. And it's not like I did it for them, but me and my purpose allowed them the healing that they needed to make these things come to fruition. And like you said at the beginning of it, so it ain't about us. We want to make it about us. Like when you're following a passion, the purpose, and God is talking, or whoever you believe in is talking and navigating your footsteps. Like that is a level of faith and trust that not everybody understands because they think of it as a choice we're making.
Yes.
And it's not. It's not. I can't not do this. Like once I committed to God and my spirituality, I can't not do this. I can go somewhere and I will try and and it will still be in the back of my head running replay.
It's never gonna leave you.
It's never gonna go anywhere. And it's like I get upset sometimes, or I get to my max sometimes because I'm probably not doing all the, you know, self-care I should be doing to maintain all the so I'd be hitting up against the wall sometimes, and Spirit has to remind me that I can't see the forest for the trees.
Yeah.
I'm worried about growth of my wildflowers when they're planting evergreen. And that is, it's hard because I'm like, what about me, Jesus? You know? What about me? Is it me, Jesus? You know? It's just really not.
I love that you said that.
Let me know.
Yes. Can I know? Listen, I have a good astrologer friend who her thing about astrology is it's not about you. It's about how to be you. And that makes so much sense. If you surrendered to your spiritual purpose,
oof. Yeah. Then I probably need to get real fucking familiar with my chart then. Because I have surrendered to my spiritual purpose, and I swear I be feeling like I'm punching in the dark sometimes.
You were on time, baby. Listen.
I swear I just be swinging. So I probably do need to like dig in my chart and get real fucking familiar with my chart and knowing I don't need to know how to read anybody else's, but I need to know how to read my own.
You have to start there. I will say that because you have lived your life. So in learning to link everything together, like who's going to have better recall of what happened to you than you? Like,
right.
When you read other people's charts, yes, I tell people what I see.
Mm-hmm.
and what's displayed there. And normally when I do my readings, they're not like live one-on-one like this at first. I said recordings first. I don't want you to tell me shit. I just want to give you and then we talk. But it's essentially because people feel like lost. And I have myself. And then when I've understood I was like, oh gosh. And not even just understanding yourself, the cycles. I'm actually working on a book now. I want it to be done soon because this idea had been building for a long time. It's like more than halfway done at this point. But to help people do something very simple, which is track the sun through their chart. Because every year you have cycles and you have seasons that happen to you. And it's like teaching you what things mean and where in the chart they should be to understand why you experience seasons. Because let's be honest, the most popular type of astrology is Western tropical astrology, the astrology that I'm practicing and that we're talking about. You know what it's based on? It's based on the sun's ecliptic, which means it's based on the seasons as experienced in the northern hemisphere. We have seasons as individuals as well. We experience them collective. When the sun hits your rising sign, that's your spring. And your spring encompasses the first house, the second house, and the third house. Then when the sun hits your fourth house cusp, that's your summer. Okay. When the sun hits your seventh house cusp, that's your fall. When it hits your 10th house cusp, that's your winter. Now, I'm telling you, when you start journaling through them periods, like I've done experiments on this for like over 8 years at this point. On myself and clients and other people. You can always track your cycles. You can plan better. Because you'll be like, oh no.
That's some good shit, man. Like,
Because
I'm living here like,
do we go?
I'm living here like, I need a worksheet, a workbook, a phone. So
That's what I do those reports for people too. Like I'll do a report explain your seasons, but I'm putting a book to teach people. Like, because I don't. This goes on.
Please.
I don't want people to find me.
Where can they find you?
My website is spiritualgangstercertified.com. I'm also
gangster with an A, right?
A, yes, no.
Okay. We don't do no hard R's. No hard R's.
My YouTube channel, Spiritual Gangster Certified. My Instagram is that. And Linktree/spiritual will take you everywhere you need to go. But I'm telling y'all, I don't want people to be dependent upon me for understanding themselves. I simply want to help you find your way there. That's why I teach people astrology. I don't like people who make you dependent upon them something that you could do too if you just learn. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
That's why it's important to me. Like, I do reports for people. At first, people can't do that shit. They don't know how to do it. But I want to teach you how to recognize your patterns. So, it's beautiful. Because we don't go outside and plant seeds in the ground in winter when it's snow covered.
And then we're going to frustrate ourselves if we do. If we're just going to piss ourselves off. Yeah. So what is something that I think, because we're coming to the culmination, right?
Okay.
So what it is for our YouTube land, right? What is one thing that might be affecting them this year? What is, that one thing that might be affecting them this year? How should they navigate that collectively?
Y'all, there has been heavy energy shifts 2023. It's hard to pick between these two, but if you're going to make me pick one, I'm like, there were two major things.
Okay, you go ahead. Blame the two.
But Saturn in Pisces, Saturn moved into Pisces, Pluto moved into Aquarius. Now, for background, everything has been leading up to this point. So Saturn was in Aquarius from like the start of lockdowns for the pandemic. Or pan. We'll have to.
We're gonna say our collective resting period.
But there I love that. Yeah, I use that outside of here, please.
Yes, you can. Okay. It was our collective resting period.
During our collective resting period, that started. Now, Saturn literally is the planet that represents restriction. And then Aquarius literally is the planet that represents the collective of people. The people were literally restricted when that happened.
Right.
Another theme that came up during that time is Aquarius is your networks, your friendship circles, who you're connected to. Saturn is like, audit that shit, bitch. Hold on. Be responsible with your circle. And then it also says, do y'all share the same values? Because Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, and Uranus in the sky right now is in Taurus, and Taurus is the sign of values. Mm-hmm. So, since 2020 up until March 7th of this year, when Saturn was in Aquarius, it literally was telling all of us, what about your friends?
What about your friends?
Literally.
Yeah, I lost a few. I did.
Me too.
Literally, I lost one. I did.
Let me ask you this, though. Did any of those happen, like last-minute ones? What I mean is, Saturn was at like 29 degrees, which is a degree that speaks to a sense of urgency, like get it done now, because it's the last degree of the sign. I noticed that's when some of the people I didn't think were going to go went, when that was going on.
It just came out of left field, and
one of my unexpected.
It came out of left field, and it was like, how'd you come to that conclusion? Ooh. But if that's, and then that led to the demise, because like you can never accuse a Virgo of some shit she didn't do. Okay. But we don't learn like that. If we know for a fact that we ain't do that shit. Yep. We can't gain trust in you again, because how would you, why can't you believe that that's not what happened, or I didn't do that? You know what I'm saying? Like that. I don't know why it hurts us so bad, but it does. That's one of my pet peeves.
I think it's some reasons. Wow.
Yeah. One of my pet peeves is don't accuse me of shit I ain't do. We could have a discussion. You could talk to me. We could have a conversation. But if you come accusing me,
yeah,
I know I ain't do that shit. I don't know how to further on with you, because
listen. Number one for Virgo. If we just took the whole sign of Virgo to describe Virgo energy, if we look at the chart for like the sign of Virgo, you know what you have in the heart place, the heart chakra, the center of your heart, which is the 5th house. What's really dear to you, you have Capricorn there. Let me tell you something. When it comes to integrity, like you're saying, when you're adult, you can do some shit. So like at the heart of you, there's integrity, and you're not gonna act against yourself in integrity. I'm not right. Shit I ain't do. Yeah,
you're right. Like integrity is major, and we talked about that in terms of like just how I show up. Like that is super important to me, and I don't navigate around that. Like I need to be 100 with you. I need to be authentic with you. Yes. If I have to masquerade, I don't want it. That's why I don't like sales. I hate sales, because I can't be 100 with you. I can't just have a conversation with you. It's all this, manipulation bullshit. I hate it. I don't want no parts of it. If I have to do all that, I would rather not fucking talk to you.
Girl.
Like that, I can't stand it. I can't stand being fake, like on that level of things. Like my word is my bond. If I say it, I tend to mean it. Yeah. When I fuck up sometimes, sometimes I do fuck up because I'm human. But when I said it, I meant that shit. So if I told you I love you, if I told you I'm 10 toes down, I'm 10 toes down. And now if I told you I don't know, bitch, that means it depends.
Yeah, we ain't sure.
I don't, when I say yes, it's a yes.
Yes. Yes.
That kind of thing. But if I say, I don't know that, I can't say, I don't want to say yes because I don't know if I'm going to be able to hold true to it. And I love to hold true to my word.
Technology, every time you open your mouth, let me tell you, literally, you don't know you're doing it.
I'm like a case study, like of a certain aspect. That's
it. You're speaking it because, again, looking at the chart for Virgo, and you talking about Virgo energy, right? It was Scorpio in the third house. Let me tell you, first of all, Scorpio is the sign of extremes.
And my Scorpio moon, I have a Scorpio.
Yeah. Okay. All right. This is making more sense.
I have a Scorpio moon and the Sagittarius rising. So, that's why everybody thinks I'm this happy, bubbly ass person. But then when they get to know me, it's like, Todd, show as fuck. It's like, yeah, y'all think I'm like always like go-getter and fun and I'm out at the parties, and no, I'm at home in some draws watching Gumsher.
That's just guru. It's the teacher. It's the showing people the way.
Yep.
That's
my lot in life, because I keep saying I'm not a teacher. I'm not a teacher. And they be like, yeah, you are.
Like, you are. I mean, I know that you're not walking into it like that's your title. Like, you don't show up and go, I'm a teacher.
It's just, I guess, leader energy. That.
Showing the way.
Follow after me if this resonates with you. I ain't gonna talk you into doing it, but if this resonates, if the way I'm dancing resonates, come learn the way I dance. That's how, that's what I love about it. So we're going to end here for our YouTube land. For those on Patreon, we're going to probably go another 15 minutes, and I'm going to let you get a little bit deeper of anything else that you want them to know, especially going in for this year and next year. This will be available on Patreon. Let's Get Blunt, patreon.com. Let's Get Blunt podcast. You can become a Patreon member for less than about $10 a month. You get the extended audios, different levels get different things, and the frequency level gets things like pop-up healing, yoga sessions monthly, energy readings, collective energy reads, manifestation 101 course, and all those other things to get your shit together and start navigating the life that you were put here to have, right? That core desire of yours. So if you want to do that, you can do that at patreon.com. Let's Get